Alright, Sage Wanderer here. So I'm considering options on my property. And I'm determined to make this happen. So this is kind of a portable building slash tiny home kind of option. I'm waiting for them to open and tell me how much something like this would cost. But I know this is going to be probably more expensive than a mobile home, but probably work better in the long run. But I'm also considering, okay, so I'm not in the best shape in the world, but if I went slow, I could probably build one of these. You know, I used to do construction. I know how to do framing. All I'd need is some plans that I could probably download for free online, and I think I could build this. So I'm looking at options. You know, I got a guy who's trying to get rid of a 30-foot RV from the 80s that he, you know, is wanting to sell quick. So I'm considering, you know, going back into the RV life. I got to put some kind of shelter on my land because my situation with my sister kind of came apart. So I'm back to camping on the property or coming up with money so I don't know. I got a little bit of money. I got to spend it really wisely. You guys have helped me out, and you sent me some money, and it's just a tiny nest egg, but it's enough to get something started. But, you know, hey, I wish I could just, you know, I wish I just had the resources to just, you know, buy one of these. But they also have a rent-to-own option, but, you know, my income is so, I don't know, unprovable, impossible to document. They haven't recognized YouTubers as jobs yet, I think, in the real world. But, yeah, I kind of dig this one here. Let's walk inside. I apologize for all the noise. The highway's right there. But this is kind of what they look like. And I think they come unfinished like this, and so I would need to finish it. And I was looking at this, and I think it's 12 by 24, which is not much bigger than the camper van I've been living in. It's real small, but I think these are 8-foot sections of flooring. So that's 1, 2, 3.5. So 3 times 8 is 24. So maybe 30 by 12, potentially 30 foot by 12. So it's quite a bit bigger than my camper van, but definitely a space that would be more than plenty adequate for me. It doesn't feel claustrophobic at all. In fact, after living in a van, it seems big and airy and scary. Hey, you want to break yourself into living in a tiny home? Then, yeah, live in a van for a couple years, and you'll really appreciate the space of a tiny home. So I'm thinking in this corner here, if I was going to finish it out, I'd put my washer and dryer here. I'd probably put me a shower stall right here in the center, and then the toilet over there, and then put a partition in right here. And then probably bed and a little tiny living room. I think if I'm building this myself, one thing I did like about living in a van is that when you live in a van, you have these giant windows. Like the whole side of my camper van is windows. So these tiny windows, I'll probably, if I build it myself or order one of these, I'll have to have bigger, at least one big window, so I can drink my coffee and look out on the beautiful piece of land that God gave me. So I'm just trying to make some plans. Like I said, maybe I'll go into detail. Now I'm gonna go ahead and go into detail now. What the heck? I never throw people under the bus on my channel. Like, you know that I went through some sort of breakup, and I'm not talking about it. And it's just because I don't like to focus on negativity. I like to focus on positivity. But I'll just say this. The quickest way to lose my respect is to say something racist. I'll say this, that we cannot afford, we being the members of the Trump family, all of us patriots, we can't afford to be racist. Because if we're racist at all, if we don't just completely shed ourselves of all racism, homophobia, xenophobia, all the things that they accuse us of, we can't be that. We just can't allow ourselves to be that. We can't represent that in any way, or we will lose this culture war. Because it's the still existing phenomenon of racism, homophobia, xenophobia, all the things they accuse us of, it's because that stuff does still exist that Antifa can justify their existence. If we would police ourselves, if we would call down racist and homophobic, hateful people in our personal lives, if we would just do that, it would take away Antifa's right to exist. And we've almost outpaced this kind of hatefulness. But it seems like since the culture war kicked in, maybe we've taken a step backwards. And that really disturbs me. It just disturbs me. We don't win this war. We don't win the war for the hearts and minds of people with hate. We win it by pointing out that we have overcome our hate as a country, and we are working towards a better solution, one of racial and ethnic and diverse harmony. And we don't need laws to back that up. We just need to police ourselves on a social level. So that means when you encounter somebody who uses racial slurs and homophobic slurs in your presence, even if it means it makes you homeless, you still say something. So even though it's my sister, it's still his house because he's living there with her. So I don't want to say anything else because I don't want to say anything that would cause my sister any problems. So I don't know that any of them's even going to watch it because everybody seems so self-absorbed on both sides. Or is it just me? You know? So anyway, I'm just trying to find a place to lay my head, and I just don't feel comfortable staying there anymore, even though I had a free room. So I don't know. I really liken myself to Elijah. When I fled Oregon, I felt like I was fleeing the Jezebel spirit. And Elijah, he didn't go stay with his sister or his aunt or his uncle. You know, he went out alone in the wilderness and hid from Jezebel, and God took care of him. So thank you, my viewers, for letting God use you to take care of me. Like, you know, I mean, it's wild honey and locust, and you guys have definitely sent me the wild honey and locust. So I'm sharing my dreams with you. I'm sorry I'm getting a little teary. It's kind of tough to live your whole life for other people, to do God's work and find yourself homeless. But thank you guys, because if I didn't have you, I wouldn't have nothing. So anyway, I'm just dreaming about this little space and how good it would look out there on my land. And I'm going to talk more about this land project. I just need some of your wise counsel because, well, let me tell you how I did this before. If these people are open yet, and I'm in their building, but it was open, so when they get here, they can try to sell me something. But, so I'm just going to take a minute and talk to you guys. But, you know, when I first conquered that land out there, I started by building a camp. You know, I built a camp, and from there I started clearing the land with a chainsaw. Now I'm a lot older now. You know, that was 20 years ago, 19 years ago. I'm clearing that land with a chainsaw. I'm building that long driveway that runs through there, and all that stuff that looks so good. It started with my chainsaw first, you know. And the portion I have left is the portion that's never seen a chainsaw, you know. And but what I did was I camped there until I got a place where I could move my family to it. And I moved my family into a mobile home. I bought a mobile home. I had it put out on the land, and I moved them in it before I had septic or water. So before I had a well or a septic, I moved my family into a brand new mobile home, a double wide. And I paid for a porta potty business to come out and leave me a porta potty like a construction site. And my kids used a porta potty for a whole year. In the dead of winter, in the heat of summer, we were out there in the outhouse, old school, right? And and I carried water. And I heated it in big stainless steel pots on the stove. So that, because I did have electric. I got electric and a mobile home. And so I'm kind of thinking maybe this is what I need to do again. That instead of building the road to try to get the well rig back there to the back of the property, that the part that I can get to, which is just this narrow strip meant to just be a driveway, I've got to build on that, I think, and put all my money towards a shelter. Because if I have a shelter, I can pay for a porta-john to come out there, and I can carry water from my sister's house, and I don't mind doing that. So I don't know, what do you guys think? Should I go for the well? Should I try to fix the road to access the bigger part, a nicer part of the property? Or should I just build some kind of structure like this, or get a mobile home or a van and put it right on basically on the driveway? And you'll understand more when I show you the plans. I'm gonna show you the plans today of the property. And really, I'm just looking for your guys' help. I'm just trying to get the cheapest place to live with the least amount of money out of my pocket. And I just wanna live a simple life. And if I had this out on the property, I'd just move into it and I'd insulate it and finish it as I went. And I'd figure it out as I went along. Because this is a whole lot better than a tent or a tarp, which is where I'm at as of today. So thank you guys so much for helping me. Thank you so much for watching. And yeah, I tell you what, if we're gonna win the culture war, we have to put an end to racial identity politics. And we're not gonna do that by using racial slurs and talking about those people. So we gotta do away with racism in ourselves. And it's one of my deal breakers. I just can't cohabitate with somebody who has that issue. All right, God save our republic.